Hello, I'm live. Well, I'm alive. I thought I was not going to be alive. Yesterday, I felt really bad. And today, I feel better. I just needed a shot. Hey, guys. Uh, I didn't confirm like the class, but I hope somebody's going to connect, or most of you. If we have more than 15 people, we're going to play a Kahoot, but I doubt it. So we check. I'm gonna check if there are people saying hello when they arrive. And I think I left my phone downstairs. No, here it is. Hello, I see that we have 2 people. Hi. We got a new B1 plus class. So in this one, I'm not gonna talk in Spanish. Sorry, guys. I'm not gonna speak in Spanish. Hi, Camilo. Nice to see you, man. We are active here. Yes, I agree. We got 4 people. Really, if we have 15 people by the end I finish explaining, we could play a Kahoot. Hi, Eric. How are you? Nice to see you, man. Giovanna, love to see you. How are you guys? How's it going? No, seriously, how are you? I do care if you're okay. If you're like kind of, for example, yesterday I was feeling really bad. Like yesterday I was kind of sick, but I'm better today. Well, just my pride. And I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to play like you know that I have an application for the microphone, so I can swap my voice, but it's not working. And I don't know why. Say what, Eric? You can't complain? Uh, well, I can complain. My back is killing me, but I can cope. Give me a sec. I need to do something with this, so I need the microphone thingy. Not that I'm going to use it. Maybe I'm going to use some audio effects. Okay, English class. Yeah, we have sound effects now. I'm gonna get our board going. We have something today. It's not closely grammar related, kind of, but it's something that we should know as B1 plus students. And oops, something bad happened here. Yeah, sorry, my tablet is not gonna work without this. Okay. Um, I got a question for you people. How good are you at word transformations? You know what word transformations are? Dora the Explorer. Nobody answers. Word transformation. Do you know it or not? Is the first time somebody says that? Teacher, I can understand what you say, but it's a little difficult to me. It's a little bit difficult to write. Writing is connected to reading. The more you read, it's going to be easier to write. And also being patient. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. Word transformations isn't happy, happier, happily, happiest. Yes, finding words that are connected to each other somehow. There are different ways to say this. Like the one that you say, Herman, here, happy, happier, happily, happiest, is when we transform an adjective into a superlative or an adverb or a superlative. That is the last one. Going back to Camilo, Camilo, you just have to be patient. It's a process. The more you do it, the better. Chat often, read often. Remember that you have to consume 5 or 7 times the input. So if you read 5 paragraphs, you're going to write 1. I know it's an uneven relationship, but that's a part of the process. Like the best solution is the input. And going back to the topic, yeah, word transformations. So 101. So because this is the first class, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this in several classes. Galuna, hi Galuna, welcome. We just started, so I'm happy to see you here. Where was I? Oh yeah, word transformation. Chill. It's not a difficult topic, but we're gonna start with something that many people don't like. We're gonna do this with verbs. Okay. Verbs are a great way to start checking word transformations. Hi, Angelica. Happy to see you. When we transform a word, it's because we're going to give it a different use. And for this, it's necessary to know that words can have connections or different transformations. Now, I got a question for you people. Are you familiar with all the verb forms? You know how many forms we have in a verb in English? And I'm seriously asking you, so give me a number. Don't Google it. How many forms does a verb have in English? I bet somebody's Googling it. Herman, you say you think you don't know. Well, that's okay. Think you don't know. What else? Somebody else wants to risk it? Give me a number. 3, 4, 11 forms. Like Spanish, like let's say el verbo gustar in Spanish. Yo gusto, tú gustas, él gusta, ellos gustan. We already have 4, and I'm just halfway through the present. So obviously, if you add in gustará or gustaría, we're gonna rack it up. By the way, rack it up is to expand in number, to have more. So let us review that part. Let's put it out of the way. How many verbs we have in English? We have many verbs. And how many forms? Well, in English, we have only 5 forms, and they have different uses. You by now you should have seen them, yeah? Let's say, for example, well, yeah, my favorite verb is gonna be this one. Yeah, it's gonna be play. Yeah. Well, to play, because when we say the infinitive is when the verb uses to. Okay. Galuna, you said 3. Well, yeah. Sorry, it's 5. We're missing just 4. Well, just 2. To play. We have something that we call the bare infinitive, and it's just to say play. So the difference between these two is that here we don't use to. Yeah, that's the only difference. Kind of dumb, right? But we have the typical here that is plays, the one that we use in the present for the third person. That's a typical transformation. And we have the other two, the present participle and the past participle. Now relax, you don't have to remember these names because usually people use different names for this one. The present participle is the ing. Yeah, this little thing has a name, and the name is present participle. The past participle is going to be the ed. Yeah, those are the names, and these are the forms that we have in a verb in English. Again, let's compare it to Spanish. And yeah, many people are not going to agree much. Yeah, they're not going to agree at all. They are not at all. You don't have to agree with this. English is easier than Spanish only because the number of verb forms, at least in the tenses. Like in Spanish, we have more than 20 different verb forms. English has 5. Yep, that's it. That's about it. And it happens to all of us. Like, what is the complication that we have? That in English, we have regular and irregular verbs. That's the only difference. Yep, I'm just gonna rack it up here just for a while. Remember, it really helps me if you share the live content with groups. So that would really help me a lot, just in case. So Yeah, that one. But can anyone here in the chat give me a regular verb so we can review the forms a little bit? And then we do it with an irregular. Give me an example of a regular verb. Regular means that it doesn't change much or at all. Then we go to the big part of the topic. Give me a regular verb. Any. I'm just waiting. Give me a regular verb so we can do this. Well, if you're not going to give me a verb, I'm just going to chat with my girlfriend. Play? Well, I already gave you the example with play. We need a different verb. Different verb. Hi, Eric. How are you? Different verb, not play. Adriana. Hi, Adriana. No, read is irregular. Ask, it's a regular verb. Or study. That one is regular. Yeah, we can use that one. Walk. Okay. I'm going to pick study, though. Yeah. I'm going to go with Anna in this one. Hi. Yeah. Happy to see you. Well, so yeah, walk and ask. I like them, but I want to check study just because there is a tiny change there. It's just a record that is of verb forms, so it's not that serious. Wait up. What am I doing here? Oh, yeah, I'm trying to look for my marker. And I missed it. Okay, so we have infinitive, to study. Oof, this is too fat. What happened here? To study. That's great. Bare infinitive, we eliminated two. So just study. We use bare infinitive to give orders. Present third person, this one is weird. Studies, because we changed this little yellow thing from here. Follow is also a good example. Present participle, studying. Actually, there is a meme about studying, like you like stud and dying. Dying is part of studying, so that's kind of a lame joke. And studied. Okay, again, only 5 forms. We call these regular verbs because they don't change much. Yeah. It's going to happen to follow. Yes. It's going to happen to talk, close, listen. Yeah. Those are examples of good regular verbs. Now we go to the big cheese. It's the same one, but irregular. I have ignored some of the comments because they are not regular. They are irregular. Go is part of this group. It's irregular. Run is an irregular verb. And read, somebody said read over here. Yeah. Read is also irregular. What is the thing about irregular verbs? Is they're going to change a lot or not so much. Yeah. I'm going to use go. Yeah, for the example. I'm going to use go for the example. Just a record that is here. Go. So infinitive, to go. Bare infinitive, just go. Remember, when you give orders, bare infinitive. Go to a kitchen, go to your room, go and do some exercises, or well, you should do some exercise. But yeah, I'm too lazy for that. Present third person, goes. Present participle, going. And past participle. I actually missed one. I missed the past. The past is actually, we have 6 forms. Oops, it's not 5, it's 6. Oh yeah, I missed that one. So the past is went, and the past participle is gone. I ignored this one because I'm going to use these two to explain today's topic. Okay? So in the other ones, I forgot that the past is actually the same past participle. That's the actual name. But yeah, when we have two forms that are totally different from the original one, the verb is irregular. Yeah, just two classifications of verbs. Now, is this important to know? It helps a lot. Is it necessary to know these names? Not really. You're going to learn them anyway. But what is important is when you know, especially these two forms over here, and this is today's topic. Oops, where is my pen? Present participle and past participle, or basically the ed and the ing, are really helpful to expand our vocabulary. Okay, and these are the two particles we're going to use to expand our vocabulary today. Well, you're gonna think like I'm going crazy, but no, actually it makes sense. But before I continue to our important part of the night, do you have any questions about verb forms? I can give you a tip on how to learn the verbs. The first tip that I'm going to give you is there is a list of verbs, right? Oh my God, try not to use the list. I mean, the list is useful just to check your writing part. Yeah. But if you take the list to learn the verbs in order, it's going to hurt you. It's not going to help. Actually, you don't use the verbs at the beginning, like most of them. Try to use them, the ones that are closer to your basic needs. So that's going to be eat, go, sleep, eat. I already mentioned that one. Drink and sleep. Those five verbs are your basic needs, are all irregular. And then you expand to the ones connected to your work or your studies. And then you connect to the ones that are connected to your hobbies. Classifying the verbs and then learn them in an order that is natural for you is more effective than just using the list. Actually, that list is not healthy at all. Well, sorry about that. But yeah. Anyway, so again, in general, the verbs are actions or states. What do I mean by states? Like love is not an action. Yeah. Here is an example of action can be run, and a state verb can be love. Yep. An action can be punch. Yeah, I know, kind of violent. And a state can be understand. So if you have the difference between stative verbs and action verbs, you have half the battle won. But yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. Now, what I'm going to show you doesn't work with all the verbs. It works with some specific verbs. And what we're going to do is to turn them into adjectives. Okay. Now, ing and ed. Have you seen characteristics with ing and ed that start from a verb? I'm going to give you one, and it's the typical that many people in Spanish tend to confuse. We have bore. Bore is the verb aburrir. Yep. And we have boring, and we have bored. Hi, Carolina. No, no biggie, no biggie. You arrived just in time. No, it's okay. Chill. What's the difference between an adjective with ing and an adjective with ed? Do you know? I'm reading you here. Well, in my cell phone because something happened. No, that's not the real difference. You're close. Angel, the time. No, it's not about tense. In this moment, we are not talking about the tense. The tenses, the present, the past, they don't exist. The action happened at the moment. No, we're not talking about present continuous. We are transforming the word. Bore is an action, right? Boring is not an action. Bored is not an action. Germán, can I repeat the question? Of course, I can repeat the question. What is the difference between boring and bored? Hi, Marlene. Welcome. Bore is an action. Boring is a. I'm going to help you with this. It's a characteristic. That's the difference. And Galuna, yes, Galuna, you hit the cake. That's it. Bored is also an adjective, but this one, we use it to describe a state. Yep. So some people can say, sorry, it's my opinion. It's not true, but I'm going to use it anyway. I can say something like, excuse me for this one. Romantic series are boring for me. I mean, maybe some of you like them. If you like them, I forgive you. But I really don't like romantic series. Bored is a state. So typical in class, I'm bored. Well, yeah. The other day I was talking to a student and she was like, he says that I'm boring. And I was like, well, maybe somebody's going to love you one day the way you are, etc. Then she got angry at me because she thought I was making fun of her, but I was trying to correct her. Yeah, bored is the state. So whenever you feel that way, just as I think it was Galuna who mentioned that. Yeah, Galuna mentioned that we use the adjective with ed. Ing is going to be something that is a characteristic of something. It's something that you use to describe it. Please remember that question for the end. That's a good question. Intransitive or transitive? That has to do with the object, but as it is not connected to this part of the topic, I'm gonna leave that question for a moment, okay? I'm bored because all I find is boring series. That sucks, man. You should look anime. There is a very good series right now. I think it's Demon Slayer. It's quite entertaining. Carolina, yes. If you want to say that, like, I'm not an interesting person, I'm boring, then that sentence is correct. Yep. What happens with this, and I'm gonna erase everything, so whoops, bye. This happens with verbs that make you feel an emotion. You cannot do this with all the verbs, okay? So again, verbs like bore, interest. If you have any verbs that come to your mind and you want to help me to create this list, you're welcome to do it. Amaze. Yeah, you take these kind of verbs and it's going to happen. Can you think of more? Think about verbs that make you feel something. So it's grammatically correct to say no, 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 no. In that case, it would be bored. And no, come on. Bored in that case, Herman. So I'm bored of my girlfriend. Then break up, let her free. Let her be free, man. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, we start getting here. Steffi said annoyed. Yes, annoyed is one of these words, but it's actually the verb molestar. The verb molestar is annoyed. Hurt. Yeah, it can happen. But I'm gonna put a little asterisk here. Hurt. Love, maybe. Naji, angry is not a word. No, angry is not a word. Right there. What do you say? The boy is bored because he eats onion. Well, eating an onion is never fun. Who likes that anyway? You. Galuna. Okay, very good examples. You're thinking all of them in ed, but I'm just putting the verb here. So excite is one. Tire is one. Confuse. Yes, that one. Any others? I'm reading you. Actually, I like the way you participate on this one. Excite. Elsie, nice to see you again. Angel, we don't do this with play. Worry. Yes, that one works. Play doesn't work because it's an action. We may use it later, but not for this kind of things. We are making a division between this. Okay, so we have already so many of this. So remember, I'm just going to put here as a recorderis. ing is a characteristic, and ed is how they feel or the state. You say tire. Tire is cansar. So yeah, like BMX or training TRX or those kind of things is really tiring. And many people feel awfully tired after work. Okay. Oh, that one. I like that one, Steffi. Steffi, you say disappoint. Hi, Argenis. Nah, chill. That's why we record everything. Disappoint. That's an action. And when something is this. Oh, I think I have a spelling mistake. Do I have a spelling mistake here? Can you please correct my mistake? It looks horrible. I need you to correct that mistake. Can anybody correct the mistake that I did on the board? Is it double S or double P? I'm waiting for you. Double S or double P? Steffi, very good. Double P. So bye, Mr. S. Hello, double P. Disappointing and disappointed. Okay. Thank you, Carolina. Marlene, thank you. Herman, thank you. Please. Yeah. Mistakes are important. Believe me. Actually, it's really funny because we see people like they start writing, they're going to writing, and they're like, is this okay? And no, it's not okay. But mistakes happen. Yeah. You never learn if you do everything perfect. Where am I? Oh, yeah. So far, so good, right, guys? Have you seen these kind of words? Like, they are not verbs at all, but they use ing and ed. Needless to say, in this case, the ing is not ando, like in Spanish. Okay? So in these cases, we're just describing. Fall. But in that case, it doesn't produce an emotion. Well, you're going to be really scared if you're falling from a high place. But remember, we do this with actions that make you feel something. Remember all the examples that they mentioned before. Disappoint, amaze, irritate. I personally find it really fun to use this one. Irritate. Again, I'm asking you guys, does this action generate feelings? Elsie, embarrassed? Yes. Camilo, sad is not an action, but let's think about an action that makes you sad. And that's going to be a good word to use a transformation. Confused is a very good example, but let's go with irritate. Do you feel emotions? Do you get an emotion when somebody irritates you? What is the emotion that you get? Happiness? I don't think so. Unless you have a weird way of thinking. Nope. Nope, Herman. In that case, no, because sleep doesn't generate a feeling on you. Irritate. So you can say my well, I can say this. My boss is irritating. That's his characteristic, so he tends to makes me angry. And Mary is irritated. Okay. Again, both of these words are adjectives. Here, you're describing a state. And here, you're describing a characteristic. And there is nothing else about this. Germán. Yeah, that's a very good example. En Galuna, that's the answer for the question I asked a moment ago. I think there is a little delay in the chat, so excuse me for that. But yeah, the internet. Disturb, disturbing, disturbed. Yes, and actually, Disturbed is also a good music band. I like it. Okay, so far so good. What do you think of Nah, that looks horrible. Sorry. I'm still all out of practice. Encourage, Elsie. Yes, that's a good example. What do you think of let me think. No, people is gonna hate me for that one. What do you think of Bad Bunny? Try to use words that we have used here in the examples. Camilo, I don't know if you showed that as an example of verb or they're gonna use it in your example in a moment. But I want to see here in the chat. Try to use words that are characteristics. So obviously, most of the words you're gonna use are going to be with ing. It doesn't matter if you like or not the guy. Just tell me what you think. How would you describe the guy using this kind of vocabulary? And if you have the opportunity, try to use this one if you want to describe your feelings. What do you think of Bad Bunny? Okay, Germán, in your case, remember to say this. He is. Because we have to start with the person, yeah? Try not to start with a sentence here. No, we have to start with the subject. Okay? So that's why I'm not going to put it here. I correct it first and then. And he makes, again, he makes, don't forget this. Again, somebody has a different opinion. Do we have any Bad Bunny fans here? Maybe, it's possible. Personally, for me, it's not my taste in music. Just boring. For me, it's just plain boring. Extravagant. Okay. Adriana, can you think of a word similar to extravagant, but that finishes with ing? Remember, the important thing about using these kind of topics is that you use them later with good examples. So it sticks. Because if we just see the words, it's not going to be as effective. That's why we need the examples. Yeah, but I need you, Elsie, to give me an example with ing or ed, a characteristic. So maybe a fan is going to say, no, Bad Bunny is amazing. You see, that's a characteristic, and that finishes with ing. What do you think? Or maybe I'm just going to change the example. Any other? He's a popular singer. Yeah, but characteristics. Give me a good description of the guy. Because for now, I just saw that. Okay, what was the example that he used? Give me a sec so I can check the chat. Herman, he is disturbing and he makes me feel disturbed. Okay. Ouch. There are people who think his music is funny, not boring. Okay, yeah, but I need you to use something with ing. The whole point of this is using the vocabulary that we are checking. Okay, so somebody said disturbing. Somebody said something else. Annoying. So negative feelings. I'm gonna put the negatives here. Annoying. Disturbing. Anyone with a shortage of brain. Come on, Efrain. It's just a music taste. It doesn't really matter. We don't have to be judgmental of other people's musical tastes. A good example would be some people who defend the guy say that his music is amazing. He doesn't have a charming voice. I don't know where to put that one. But I like the example. He doesn't have a charming voice. Charming is a good example of these kind of words. So I'm just going to put it in positive, but I know that the sentence was negative. So I'm going to put it here charming. Okay, another characteristic with ing. Great. Any other? I'm starting to think that there are not many people here who like Bad Bunny. Not that I like the guy. I simply don't care. I'm not judgmental. If he's great and famous, good for him. I don't worry about him. Herman, that doesn't exist. We only include ing with the words that are verbs, not adjectives. So funny is not possible. No. So Herman, that is not possible. Adriana, good example. You don't like it, but many people find the guy fascinating. Yes, the action is fascinate. You can feel fascinated, and the characteristic is fascinating. Yeah, that's a good example. Fascinating. Okay, good. Um, Next question. How would you feel in in a yeah, I'm not gonna make it like this, but yeah, in a graveyard at night. How would you feel in a graveyard at night? Imagine a graveyard with all the tombstones. It's cold, it's the night, only surrounded by spooky people who are not alive, not zombies yet. It's not Resident Evil, it's just a normal graveyard. How would you feel in that situation? It's so scary. Yes, it's scary, but I need you now to use this. So, how do you feel? Because actually, the verb asustar is scare. However, scare is not compatible with this, but it's compatible with this one. And this happens sometimes. So, yes, Elsie, she would feel scared. Yep. Let me change the question, maybe for some people. How would you feel if, let me think of a name. Give me a name. No, don't give me a name. Okay. This one is for the ladies. Robert Downey. Downey. I maybe have misspelled his name, so you gotta forgive me. Junior asked you out. What if you receive an invitation from Robert Downey Jr.? It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. I just want to know how would you feel? Well, who cares? Like the guy tells me to go for a beer, dude. I will be fascinated, and I will definitely say yes. Stephanie, what is a graveyard? A graveyard is a cemetery. It's where we place dead people. But a graveyard is usually out in the open, and it doesn't follow many rules. You're still with the graveyard. I feel scared. A graveyard is scaring at night. Well, we don't say scary. That doesn't exist though. That's why I say sometimes it's incompatible. How would you feel if Robert Downey Jr. asked you out or invited you? Just yeah, he asked you to go for a drink. In the case of the guys, hey, Robert Downey Jr. Amazed, amazed. Something. Charmed. You will be charmed. Yes. LC will be excited. Well, can't blame you. And so on. Great. Now the guys are like, oh, I don't know how would I feel. Dude, I will feel interested. The guy knows a lot of stuff. I bet he's a really interesting guy. So getting drunk with an interesting guy always leads to a good conversation. Why do I always think about getting drunk? And I never drink. Well, I drink like a beer and then I just want to stop. Anyway, before I continue with the last part, and if we have the time and we have 15 people, we can play Kahoot together. Yeah, I have the Kahoot ready here. There is one final thing I want to show you connected to this topic. And let me remove that banner from there. I don't know. I'm still learning how to use this. And I feel like I'm going to start looking into replacing my arms for tentacles. I think I'm going to need them. Okay. Last part of this topic is mostly with irregular verbs. You don't know who is Robert? Robert Downey Jr. is the guy who played Iron Man in the Avengers and all those Disney movies. Marlene will feel excited. Okay, good for you. Yep, he's Iron Man. Anyway, we have many actions that the past participle we use it to describe states. The most famous one is break. Break, the past participle is a characteristic. Have you seen this word? Broken. Broken is an adjective, but it's also the past participle of break because this is the origin of the word. Okay? So broken mirror or broken heart. Yeah, I'm not getting depressed, just saying. That's why we say it. We have turned break into a characteristic, and that happens a lot with past participles, especially for the negative one. And I don't know if you have seen this one. I mentioned this one yesterday in the reading session. So I don't know if you remember. If somebody was here in the reading session, like if they were here, you could tell me. But chip, that happens to wood. Like chipped. Yeah. It's chipped or damaged. When we say that things that are not completely okay in a quality state. Or it happens a lot with steel. Yeah. Stolen. All of these are not only actions, but they also become characteristics or states. So this is not only exclusive for regular verbs, it's also for some irregular verbs, and you're going to find them. There are so many that it will be totally unnecessary to create a list. Actually, I think that creating a list is not a good exercise. Just to know that it happens and then start integrating this in the way you speak. That's the important part. Now, I would like to ask you if you have seen similar words like these ones that have a connection to a verb. I'm all ears. Well, eyes, because I'm reading you. I'm just going to tell you this like the ing has also many different uses from the one that I'm presenting here. And I'm going to go for that one later. But after this question, we're going to play a Kahoot. How many people are going to play Kahoot with us? At least with 5. Like, at least I want to see the podium full. I'm going to get the Kahoot ready as you answer the question. My question is, do you know any similar words to these ones that they are basically something that we use to describe the state of an object? And I'm getting the Kahoot ready. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Mm, StreamYard. Thank you. Nope. Nobody else? I'm going to suppose that you haven't seen that one or you just noticed. Okay. Well, who's up for a Kahoot? Because I want to play. Remember, ing become characteristics, ed become states, past participle become characteristics or states for things. That's it. I could explain that like in 10 minutes, but in class we tend to beat around the bush and just focus on narrating different things. How many of you are going to play the Kahoot? Really, if you don't tell me, I have no idea. Mhm. I'm gonna do something that maybe some of you are not going to like. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the name generator just in case. I trust you guys, but I rather feel safe than sorry. Okay. Well, I'm going to eliminate this. I'm going to close this. If we get 5 people here, we start the game. Hopefully 10. So if you're going to play with me, well, I'm just going to direct. It will be unfair if I play with you. So who's gonna play? I think somebody is not going to play. Let's see if somebody dares to play with someone. This. Well, somebody told me we should do a Kahoot the next class, and I said it would be a good idea. Let's see how many people want to participate. Well, if you want to play a Kahoot, it's already on screen. I still have the freaking tiger there. The link. You just go to kahoot.it and you put in the code. The code is 605299. Or if you have your cell phone, you can scan the QR code that is right here. Well, I don't think it can scan it like that small. Well, in the meantime, as people start connecting, I think Cariave. You have to tell me what that means. If that's your last name, it's an awesome last name. But you got a question about transitive versus intransitive verbs, right? I don't know. Don't trust my memory. Oh, okay. I'm waiting a minute. I can wait 5. I have already waited 5. Cariave, are you there? So I can tell you the difference between transitive and intransitive? Or have you seen that one before? Um, um, I'm going to sleep now. I don't know if there is a way to send you a direct link to join. Would it be this one? I'm gonna try to copy and paste this link here. See what happens. No, I'm gonna try it first here. It's gonna suck. Nope. Camilo, it doesn't load. That's really weird. Give me a sec. How to send a Kahoot? Actually, nobody has been able to join, so I'm pretty sure I did something wrong. Yep, Camilo, the thing is like I said, load. Charge is for energy. I'm gonna cry, guys. Like, let me try here. I'm gonna use my cell phone. I bet it's not gonna work. Always with a positive mindset. I'm gonna find an alternative. Let me try to do something. I should have done this from the beginning. Guys, sorry, I'm gonna do it from my personal profile because that's the way it works. Tell me if you can see this in the chat. Oops, I only put it on Facebook. So how do I send it on YouTube? Goody. The people who are on Facebook, please try to click on that link. And in my case, yeah, I think it's a platform. This is the part where I just want to commit academic suicide. Oh, sorry, that joke was really dark. But I tend to say that in these kind of cases. Well, Murphy's Law. Yeah, it's official. It's not working. You know what? Not fair. Really not fair. Okay, we will have to leave the Kahoot for other day. I was just going to eliminate this from the final version of this live video, so I'm gonna delete a huge chunk of this. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah. Let's give it one more try. I'm gonna change the link. No, you're going to see the questions. I'm gonna give it one more try. Let me change the link. Creator, exit. And let me close this one. And I'm still thinking about transitive and intransitive verbs. Sorry, but I want to really answer that question. Basically, the difference is that transitive verbs are the ones that need an object in front of them, and intransitive are the ones that don't need an object. Some verbs are only transitive, some verbs are only intransitive, and some verbs can do both. I'm gonna murder this. Okay, let's try it again with this one. And if it doesn't work, we call it off and you can start asking me questions. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna work. I don't know why. I got a feeling. Nope, not working. My assistant is telling me change the code, and nope, not working. It won't. Uh, Sadly, it won't work. Yeah, sorry guys. Sucks to be me right now. Yeah, Galuna, I understand. It's not charging. Okay, so the other way to practice this, like we can insist and it's not going to work. So basically, we're gonna call off the Kahoot. That's too bad. That's really bad. Yeah. Well, it really sucks. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that page. Bye. Tiny. Tiny URL. Okay, people. So, what is the best way to practice this? Let's forget about the Kahoot. For now, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna bring an alternative for the next class. Sadly, it won't do now. The ideal thing is you should practice if you have the time with someone, and that'll be speaking, and ask about describing people, and try to use characteristics with ing because you are describing people. Now, the other way to practice is with the ed ones. Try to think about things that make you feel experiences and ask people about imaginary situations. Now, how would you feel if you were kidnapped? Okay, of course, I'm saying something that is really scary and you will feel scared. But try to focus on those kind of questions so you can practice this kind of vocabulary. Okay. So, all in all, what you have to do, you can take verbs, add them a little bit of particles to change their meaning. Ing for adjectives about characteristics, and ed adjectives about states. And so it's not gonna work. So I'm going to paste the link here for the speaking club. I'm gonna stay half an hour there. If you want to ask me some questions about the topic, or if there are more people and you want to practice, I think it will be great. So that's the alternative for Kahoot. Let's do something different the next one. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Um, yeah, it's not gonna work. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay. So for now, I'm going to disconnect here. I'm gonna go to the speaking club room. If you want to join us, the link is right there. Okay. Bye bye. See you in a moment or later. Bye. Ay, Karyabe, before I go, if you want to meet in the room, that's okay. So I can answer your question.